Thank you for joining us on this special edition of Entre Nous, coming to you from New Delhi, where India is hosting an AI summit. And I'm joined by Tom David of the GPAI Policy Lab. Thank you so much for joining us on the program today. Firstly, tell us what exactly GPAI Policy Lab does.
So what we are doing basically is, as a research organization, we do research to inform French policymakers on the state-of-the-art capabilities of frontier models. So the models that are developed mostly in US and China. We document the capabilities that could bring a lot of security issues on the table, national security, international security issues, and we inform them as much as possible. This is the biggest part of our job. And the second one is, because we cannot solve the problem unilaterally from France, we need to be coordinated. So we also organize discussion and international coordination between other countries, people from government and experts, to discuss behind closed doors about those threats, to see if we can share threat models and can plan to act.
I was researching this interview and I checked on your website, and one of the people who are advising your company is the former general of France's armed forces. Is that where we're heading next? Is AI going to enter warfare, or has it already and we just don't know about it?
I think we have to separate two different kinds of AI. We have narrow AI or low agency AIs that are used to solve specific use cases.
Like ChatGPT.
ChatGPT is a tool, for instance, but some AI that are used to solve climate issues, agriculture, education purpose, those do not require national security level of concern. But on the frontier models, the one I mentioned, developed in the US and China, on those models, we have capabilities that could bring those risks. Basically, we monitor the chemical weapons capabilities, the biological weapon capabilities, on the cyber attacks, on the persuasion. And this creates a lot of potential issues that need to be monitored closely. And if we want to avoid being in the warfare scenario you mentioned, we need to be able to monitor exactly when, where to act and how to act. And that's what those generals are involved to help us.
And where do you see the next disruptor coming from in the short term? Because if we think of the past maybe 5 years, the disruptor would be artificial intelligence in the form of ChatGPT, for instance, for me personally. But what do you see happening?
I see two different disruptors. The first one is on the adoption part, because countries want to solve their day-to-day problems, their citizens' problems. They will invest a lot and will have probably big breakthrough from a research perspective in medicine, in education, agriculture, research and development. So this is one biggest part, and I expect that no one can predict exactly what will happen because there is a lot of uncertainty. But that's the one disruptor on the positive side. On the other side, the negative one, what we have at the frontier with the frontier models is agents that can act autonomously for hours. We predict that in 2026, we'll have agents that can act autonomously to do tasks that require more than 48 hours to humans. And we cannot control those models. So we can have issues that comes because we do not control the models and they act autonomously. This will be the second disruptor.
And what about when it comes to regulation? Because we've seen that France, like India, I could argue, wants some sort of regulation. But what happens if the Chinese and the Americans don't? Then what?
So that's the biggest problem, basically. And a way to do that is what we did with nuclear proliferation, for instance. Countries cannot trust themselves because they're in a race. They have strong pressure for investors, strong competitive pressure, strong pressure from military perspective. But to be able to coordinate and avoid this lose-lose scenario, they need to have what we call verification technology. They need to have technology that help trust the other country, even if they don't trust them politically. For instance, if I have no guarantees of which models are trained by the Chinese or the US, if I don't have any guarantees on how they would behave from a national security perspective, then I'll start to be afraid and I could be willing to race.
Should we be afraid? You're taking a long time to answer.
The reason why I took so much time to answer is because there is a lot of uncertainty, as I mentioned. Why I'm optimistic is because all the levers are in the hand of humans today. We don't have agents that are deployed everywhere, which could be the case in the next few years.
So you're hoping better sense prevails?
Yeah, basically.
Let's hope so. Tom, David, thank you so much for speaking to us on this edition of Entre Nous, coming to you from New Delhi. That's it from me. Thank you very much for watching.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.